Alrighty, today I'm going to change the brake caliper. That's the one down there. It actually came out of a 94. The van that's in there, if you can see it. I had an interesting drive going to Queensland and back, which is 4-hour drive from here to there and back. I found that every time I tap my brakes to take the cruise control off, this brake on the right hand side would stay on. It'll get hot, the car would shake. I'd literally have to pull over and just wait for it to cool down, get in my way and try not to touch the brakes. As soon as I touch the brakes, it happens again. The calipers, it's like the caliper's not releasing, and so yeah, the problem just keeps repeating. Now I'm going to change the caliper first because I know that's a good one. If the problem still happens, then I'll change the rotor as well. I don't want to change the rotor because I've got a ribbed rotor, and the rotor on the other van is your standard. You can see it from here. It's just your standard rotor. And then I'll take it for another drive, and if that doesn't work, then I'll change the master cylinder. It shouldn't be the problem because the left hand brake hasn't given me drama, only the right hand brake. But anyway, it's good practice, good knowledge to sharing as well. Change the master cylinder, and if that doesn't work, then I'm down to the ABS, and I really don't want it to be the ABS. But anyway, if that's what it is, that's what it is. It's only a matter of bleeding it if it is. I have no ABS light coming on to tell me that there's a problem with ABS. So first we'll start off with simple things. We'll get this caliper done, and I'll show you just step by step as I do that, and I'll go from there. Okay, before I go about putting this caliper on, first I'm going to clean it up. This was a bit sticky in there, it was hard to move, so I've pushed it right out. It's pretty easy to put back in, like so. Just pull that out. Now just using a bit of methylated spirits, bug and tar remover, anything to clean her out. A soft little wire brush, just anything in there might be not moving. The reason why I'm using methylated spirits or bug and grease remover is because it evaporates, won't stay wet forever. It's nice and clean now. Beautiful. Now I'm going to let that rest and dry up first before I put it back together. Put that pin back in using the silicone paste, not your standard grease, because your standard grease will deteriorate rubbers. You need to get yourself a proper grease that is meant for the job. And so if I can get that to balance, will be good. Beautiful. So now I'll get the caliper off the car and off the van, and that should be dry by the time I'm ready to use that. Okay, so taking the caliper off, you're going to want to get yourself a little bucket. That's to catch the brake fluid that you're going to lose. First of all, I want to undo the line for that. I'll get it loose from this side. Come back, bucket. Okay, now that's loose. 14mm again to undo the caliper. Pretty much like changing the brakes. But I go on the next step, instead of just doing the pads, taking the caliper completely off. So that's the one bolt out. Bring the caliper up, slide that off, undo the brake line. Okay. Just move that side over there. Now I should see a steady flow of brake fluid coming into that. Not a, I don't mean a steady flow like a hose, but you know, dripping. That's not real encouraging. Just go press down on the brakes there. Well, I'm going to leave it alone for a minute, because I want to see brake fluid dripping out of there. It's not real encouraging that it's not. Okay, so continuing on here, I've pumped a fair bit of fluid through this line. I'm still not getting a drip, 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 constant flow like I expected to. This is the colour of what's coming out, and this is what the colour should be. So there will be another video soon of me doing a bleed on all my brakes, flush the system right through until I get a nice colour transmission brake fluid coming back out again. Not real happy about that at all, but can't not have the car on the road, so I'll continue with putting this back together now. Okay, so that's all nice and dry there now. Actually, still a little bit wet, but that's okay. I'll thin the grease out until it evaporates. Alright, so we want to get some of this grease into the caliper in here. Yeah. Yeah, pushing that pin through wasn't really working out. What was happening is if I put the grease in there first and then pushed that pin through, what was happening was I was just pushing the grease out the other side. So I find if you push the pin out one way, get the rubber, the boot that is, and push it to the side like that, fill the boot up first, then close the boot on it, and then work it, and get that grease through. And do that both sides until you're happy with the amount of grease you get in. That slides a lot better now already, but I'm gonna do a bit more. I'll actually show you. So get the grease you want in there, close that over. So now the grease is in there, and you work that through it. But I'm happy with that, that's moving really quick now. the other boot. There's no way for it to come out except for this little bit at the end here, a little breather. So I'm going to put a fair amount in there. Whatever won't stay in there will squeeze out. Okay. The colour of the grease that's in that caliper is not looking real good either, so definitely time for brake pads. Now, because I've got no line actually on the brakes, what I'm going to do is squeeze those pistons in by hand. Okay, whoops, there goes the brake pad. That's looking like that caliper only just came off a van, so I'm quite surprised to see that it's also looking a bit brown in colour. Okay. I'll put it back together. The next job will be that bleeding the brakes. I'll put all this back together. I've also flushed this pin out here, make sure that there's no blockages there. That's pretty much it. Just tighten everything back up now. Bleed the brakes. Don't over tighten it. You know when it's too loose, if you're still losing fluid when you bleed the brakes. But if you over tighten it, it's only an alloy thread. You could bugger up the whole caliper if you over thread it, or not the caliper so much, but you will have to clean it out. You don't want to get any aluminium filings into the caliper either. So just tight, you know. Once you tighten it and it won't turn anymore, just a bit of a nick, just a little bit more of a tension. That's all it needs. However, this other one, as tight as you can. Well, no. This one here, just make it. That's enough. It's tight enough. It's not going to come off, you know. Okay. Now for bleeding this, I'm going to get a hose on that and just get assistance from somebody to help me bleed it. I don't like doing I can't do a gravity bleed because that's not going to work. So I'm going to need someone to help me do this. And then see the grease coming out the nozzle at the end there. I expected that. So I'll just get my daughter or someone to help me out here so I can bleed this, and we'll finish up. Okay, so got my daughter here now helping me. Had a bit of a practice run first. So say hi, Jess.
Hi.
No, I said say hi, Jess. So bleeding the brakes here. I'm just using a tube so I can see air coming through and see the colour of the fluid that's coming through. It's not brown like it was before, but anyway. So pedal up. Alright, push hard down. Is it all the way down?
Yes.
Okay, up. Push hard down. Up. Push hard down. Up. Push hard down. Up. Push hard down. Okay, there's no more air coming out. There's a couple of tiny bubbles that I saw, but that's it. Okay, thank you. That's it. So now I can get that hose off, put my wheel back on, and the job's done. And my next video, I guess, will be me bleeding the brakes on all the brakes. So hang on. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll probably have a brake bleed video come through very soon. Alright, cheers. Okay, well, my problem is it was a fail, but it was worth the exercise. I can hardly turn that wheel by hand. That should be free spinning. So the caliper's still not releasing. Problem's not the caliper. So on to the next step. Change the master cylinder.